Hello, hello, hello. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests, participants, and fellow entrepreneurs, we are here at the final moment of Adamas Innovation and Entrepreneurship Conclave 2023. We are assembled here for the valedictory session. Here, we are joined by Professor Dipankar Bhattacharya, Pro Vice Chancellor, Adamas University, and Mr. Shomnath Chatterjee, Senior Vice President Chancellor of the office, Adamas University, who will be joining us shortly. I request Dr. Shaptashi Chatterjee, Chief Coordinator, E-Yuva Center, to lead the dignitary to the stage. Now, I would request our Pro Vice Chancellor, sir, to say a few words.
Thank you. Good evening. So, I'm not really a good orator, but I would like to share with you some of my experiences. Probably that will help you in your future. So, first of all, I must thank Shaptoshi for organizing such an event. It's really praiseworthy the way you have organized it, and he has arranged to assemble senior dignitaries from BIRAC, from Invest India. So all these things was really possible only because of his effort. So we must give him a big applause. He really did a great job. Okay, so now I would like to share with you just a few of my experiences. Uh, Even though I'm now in academics, initially I used to run my own business. So for 10 years, I have run monopoly business in India on anti-corrosive glass lining on cast iron valves, vats, reactors. So I have worked in that area. Then I switched to academics. So I actually experienced how entrepreneurship happens, and in that scale also, because it was a pan-India product and we used to export that also. Now, later, when I just got involved in academics, now I'm also having some mode of earning other than this part, that is through technology transfer. If you can have patents, you can go for technology transfer, and I have one US patent whose technology transfer is happening in Dubai Aluminium, and there is one company called Dynamic Concept who is making that product, and the first piece will be delivered in September in Dubai. See why I mentioned those things. Here we have a lot of aspiring students who want to create a startup, and there are people who already started the startups and all those things. The thing is, first of all, I would like to tell you that entrepreneurship is not a risky affair. A lot of people are really afraid of the risk associated with entrepreneurship. But frankly speaking, there is minimal risk associated with entrepreneurship if you plan things well. So first key thing is planning. So if you really plan perfectly, it works really well. And when you select a product, there are consumable products which you have to sell in a large number of pieces. For those kind of products, it may appear that you need very small amount of money, but take it for granted, if you go for consumable products which you need lot of volume, you need huge investment also. So what you should focus on when you are going for startup, there should be some innovation. So it is not going to be high volume, but some quality product where you will have some kind of innovation which other people will not be able to do really easily. So that is second thing. So focus not on just consumable products, because I remember yesterday from Bayrak, he was saying that you don't need inventions, but innovations is really required. But when you go for innovation, you have to understand the market. So there are two ways. One is I decide that this is the product I'm going to launch, people are ready to buy it. Another idea is you get information from people and then you manufacture the product accordingly. So I think the second option is usually easy for everyone. So make a good market survey, what the people really needs. Because if you go for some kind of investment, so you have to be careful in that part. What is the requirement in terms of market? Third thing, why most of the startups fail? Most of the startups fail because of money management. Because when we get lot of investment, we have lot of money, বাংলায় একটা কথা আছে টাকার গরম, এবং এই টাকার গরম যেই এসে পড়ে, we misuse money. And when we misuse money, we really fail in any kind of business. So you need to really plan what is going to be your fixed cost, what is going to be your operating cost. You plan everything. Don't just, I got some money from some angel investor, so first thing I have to buy a Mercedes-Benz. This may not work in most of the cases. So you have to be very rational when you are handling money. And this is one of the major causes why a business fails. Another thing you have to be really careful about goodwill. When we talk about business, what is business? Business means you have money, I'm going to take that money and I'm going to have it in my pocket. This is business. So others' money, I will take it. Even a pickpocket does the same thing. So do you think a pickpocket is doing really good business? And probably if you check the internet, you might find one of the richest persons is one beggar. Because in India, imagine the population, 1% population is giving 1 rupee. How much money it can be? But that is not really business. When you talk about business, it comes, you require goodwill. You have to build goodwill. That means when you make a product and your name is associated with that product, people will start trusting you. So once people trust you, your business will last. And never run after money. If you run after money, money will never come to you. So whenever you are planning for any business, plan that within 3 to 5 years, you are going to be successful. So 3 to 5 years is the period you have to work really, really hard. Until and unless you plan for this 3 to 5 years period and you imagine that you are going to get the return immediately after launching the product, most of the times that business fails. So you have to be really careful about selection of product, about money management, and also you need a plan how to sustain for this 3 to 5 years. And the guidance from this E-Yuva center, for example, this is going to be really helpful for you, because there are people from the investment sides, there are people from technical sides, so they can guide you that how to really make that endeavor successful. So that kind of experience is required. But finally, what you need for business is passion. You need to love that I am going to do it and I am planning to succeed in that. So if you have that passion, you will really become successful in that line. And lastly, I will say what I mentioned, this technology transfer thing. If you go for innovations, sometimes you can even make money, even mint money, if you are going for technology transfers. So start thinking out of the box, not really what is there. And remember one thing, whenever there is a problem, you have to approach that problem. And if you approach that problem in the way everybody does, do you think that you are going to succeed in solving the problem? If it would have happened like that, then everybody would have done it. So you have to start learning to approach or address a problem out of the box. And always think that problem or approach that problem from a very simple perspective, like what you know the basics in class 10 or class 12. That is enough for a business. So there are a lot of problems that we face in industry which we can overcome easily if we use this common sense. So common sense is very, very important when you run a business. And you have to, other than this technical part, you have to learn another aspect is taxation. So this financial part, you need clear idea about that, because ultimately you will earn money, but this income tax department, GST, they will create lot of problems for you. So you have to understand the financial part also. So until and unless you cover all these areas, it's difficult to go for business. But once you are determined, you have clear idea about these areas, you can always succeed. And if you plan accordingly, there is minimal risk associated with business. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would request Dr. Saptarshi Chatterjee to felicitate our Pro Vice Chancellor, sir. Thank you, sir. I would now request Dr. Saptarshi Chatterjee for the concluding remarks.
A very good evening to one and all present here. I convey my heartfelt gratitude to every student, faculties, innovators, startups, representatives from NGOs, artisans and craftsman community who have assembled here. But again, I would like to reiterate why we are here. We are here because there are certain challenges. For students, the challenge is to get a job. For teachers, the challenge is to motivate their students to think beyond getting job. For startups, the challenge is to get customers. So, this attempt of Adamas Innovation and Entrepreneurship Conclave was only to assemble together, network, discuss, and create a platform so that in the days ahead we collaborate instead of compete. We use each other for the benefit of us and society. So with this message, Adamas Innovation and Entrepreneurship Conclave was thought about. I will not be able to tell whether it is successful because it is you who would be able to comment on that. But definitely, it gives me immense pleasure that we tried our level best to tell you the reality. Everyone is not going to get a job. So we require job creators. We require job givers. And today's way of giving job is not the conventional business that we or our parents know. We are not speaking about buying things at 2 rupees and selling at 4. So if I ask a question, I might have already asked to several groups in separate, How many of you have problems? Can you please raise your hands? How many of you have problems? Believe me, I have not seen a single person till day. I would love to see a person who would say, I don't have any problem. Someone's problem is bigger, they have raised their hands fully. Someone sublime, little problem, I don't want to share. But believe me, if you can solve problem, make that your business. How you solve? Sir, correctly put it forward that a problem is a problem because we don't have a solution. And where do you look for solution? Normally, your seniors, your teachers, your superiors. Believe me, they have failed to give the solution. That is why the problem is still persisting. I couldn't solve pollution. I couldn't stop poverty. I couldn't stop population. That's why the problem exists. So who is going to answer? Who is going to address this problem? It is the youth. It is the E-Yuva of the country. It is you students who think differently, as Sir has put, out of the box. And when you solve someone's problem, believe me, the entire population is ready to serve you, is going to give you something called money. In Bengal, traditionally, we are having taboo of speaking about money. Taka niye to kotha bola jabe na. It's a taboo. You don't know, most of you don't know your parents' income. Most of you don't know when when you get a gift, what price it is. We don't know it culturally. It's good. But we need to know that money is not a taboo. Especially to the students, I would like to say, believe me, even your parents are going to judge you based on your paycheck after a few years. They're not going to judge you based on your knowledge. Lastly, I would like to say that we normally want to be successful. And we think that what we have makes us successful, which is completely wrong. You cannot name a single person who is successful, who is considered to be successful because he has a lot. But in our academic system, we always appreciate having. He has a lot of knowledge, appreciated. He has a lot of skill, appreciated. He has a lot of marks, appreciated. But believe me, nothing to be appreciated. A successful person is who gives more. Even a teacher having a knowledge is useless until he is able to transfer his knowledge to the students. So, from today, in your class, for the students, start thinking that whatever knowledge you have acquired, whatever skill you have acquired, how can you transfer it to the society? In the most demanding times of COVID-19, you never looked for a research paper on COVID. You wanted a vaccine desperately, isn't it? You wanted a vaccine. And the vaccine was prepared by scientists like you, in a lab, in an industry. Then academia, industry, business, innovation, science are not separate. They are all intertwined. If the vaccine price was 1 lakh rupee, could you have afforded it? No. Therefore, the scientist working in a research lab, the finest research lab of industry, also knows that how to keep the cost to a minimum so that it becomes affordable. So, with this, I am happy to say that we have received 250 plus participants. More than 30 institutions have participated, have registered themselves. Today we had 300 plus visitors from schools, colleges and universities. I thank each and everyone. And I believe that all the 500 stakeholders who have visited the campus in the last 2 days are the ambassadors. I cannot go and tell everyone, neither can government do, neither can your teachers do. So if each one of you become an ambassador and go and tell your parents, go and let your brothers, sisters, friends, cousins know that what the world demands today, that would be the success of the program. So before we conclude, before my dear student Aparajita gives the vote of thanks, I would request if any 1 or 2% can please come up to the dais and share your views. That would be really, and I completely appreciate if there was some lacuna, if you point it out, we would definitely make it, we will definitely work on it in the next time so that we approach perfection. I know perfection is difficult to attain, but we would approach that. So I would request a few of you, at least 1 or 2 of you, to please come here on the stage and tell something that you felt, that you learned, or that was a lacuna on our behalf. I think English or Bengali would be, anything would be fine, if I can get someone. Yeah, sure. Sure.
Hello, good evening everyone. Thank you sir for the opportunity. I'll introduce myself first. I am Atulona Datta and I have come here as an exhibitor representing Jadavpur University. But I currently work in the climate change aspect, the climate change domain in an organization known as First Climate. So I represent Jadavpur because my patented device, which has been exhibited here, I applied for that patent when I was doing my MTech. So that's the reason I've come here to represent my product. So the first thing that I'll tell you, the first impression is the campus is very beautiful. So I really don't expect it because coming all the way down from and having an exposure to quite a few institutes, I would say this is a very beautiful campus. I really like the greenery and the spaciousness of it. So that was the first aspect which I really liked about this program. The second thing which I appreciate, I would say, is that a variety of startups have been invited, including artisans and craftsperson, and they're from different domains. Some are working in geriatric care, some are working in forensics, some are having exposure to the food segment and the FMCG. So that is something I believe that it gives the student a wide variety of ideas that they can explore in this segment. So I'm sure that this was more pertaining to biology, biotechnology, and I'm sure other departments will also be having something like this and they'll be doing something like that. And I would not say this is a lacuna because this is one of an initiative and I appreciate this moving forward. I was expecting that more VCs or angel investors, something like bioangels, if they could be brought. Because what is required is that I believe that most people here were giving investor pitches or things like that presentation. So if we can have their perspective, because that's the most important thing. So when I myself have participated in ICC Startup Ad, I come from a failure startup. Failed because I had a team and the team broke. So I know a few pitfalls in that department, I would say. So what happens is that when you listen to a few VCs, angel investors, you get a very different perspective. And that is something I believe that future entrepreneurs, innovators, they really need something. And there's a big gap between being ideative, being innovative, and hitting the market. So that gap is something where incubators and just we had by angels, I appreciate that they have really arranged and organized for that. But even you at your personal level, if you're looking to explore the genre of entrepreneurship, then go out and try to listen to the startup ads or attend such events and reach out to people, those who are investing in this. Because when you talk to a large number of people, you will understand that what they really want. If you have ever been to any startup pitch, you will see that they'll ask you, come to the stage, 30 seconds, convince. So that is where most startups fail. Because 30 seconds में किसी को convince करना है, काउके बोझाते होगे 30 सेकंड में हमारा product है, आमी ऐतो चाइची, कैनो चाइची. So before you do that, you need to have a crystal clear clarity. And mostly at our age, I mean, when I started my startup, I was in the 7th semester of my BTech. So I know we do not have that clarity. We are mostly flying. We have an idea and we are just flying. और awards मिलते हैं, first prize मिलता है, तो बहुत अच्छा लगता है. So we go on with that. So that is what we want to cherish. We are getting awards, our paper में नाम आ रहा है, that kind of thing. But that is not what startup is all about. So I would tell, and I would also suggest the administration that if we can bring in more people from the funding side, and you can really see how the discussion is taking place between the investors and between the startups. So that will be wonderful. Other than that, I would appreciate the wide plethora of candidates have come here. Mostly the fact the school students have been brought in, because that was really important. Mostly what happens is that जो लोग joint pass कर जाते हैं वो यहाँ आते हैं, या joint failures, especially from the science background, they end up in BScs and all with the joint ta holo na. So that kind of feeling people end up here. So by that time you already have a mentality or a mindset. Just APJ Abdul Kalam said that it's mostly the young people, people below the age of 18, those who have a very fresh mindset. So I really appreciate Adamas group for bringing in students at school level into this forum and discussing topics which were really required. And I thank you for giving this opportunity to Jadavpur University as well, representing the university. And maybe sometime, being from the climate change domain, we can also explore that area, climate change sustainability, that's coming up. So thank you, sir. Thank you, both of you. Thank you, everyone, for this hearing and for the patient hearing. Thank you.
Hello everyone. First of all, thank you, Professor Saptoshi sir, and also Moushami ma'am for inviting our startup. So myself, Devabroto, I am basically from Human Biogenesis Private Limited, and I have a good relationship with E-Yuva because one of my another startup is Sin Biogenesis Private Limited, and that is fully based in Adamas University. E-Yuva. So yesterday I was not there because of some pre-schedule, commitment. But today I came, and really I appreciate whatever the students came, and also in our product I talked. I gave a talk today, and whatever the appreciation I got from you guys, that was brilliant. In May, previously I attended many events in Startup India, as well as in IITs and other, under any organization or such events. But basically, what I have seen in Adamas, first of all, in the other events, basically, who are the doing the events, basically, jara porichalona kore thaken, they are not that much involved, who the guys are coming and how they are communicating with the other startups and all these things. But in this Adamas Institute, I have seen that one, that the communication with the students and the entrepreneurs, that was brilliant. And also every time whatever I talk to Saptoshi sir, he is basically that guy who just want to talk to any of the guys that you can do it. And and I would like to say about myself, so you can get it, that why I am telling about why I am telling about Saptoshi sir. Basically, I started my journey when I was at 8th semester of my BTech in SRM University, and recently I completed my MTech in 2022. So I came from 2020. I started my journey as the name of my company, Human Biogenesis, and therefore I moved to IIT Guwahati because of the research purpose. And that time, as sir told before, that you sir, our Pro Vice Chancellor has told before, that what this is needed for the basically being an entrepreneur. Entrepreneur innovation is obviously needed, but nowadays I think so, to being grants or something innovation, you must need the the knowledge, the tech, because without tech I think the nowadays it's very tough to get sustainable of your company, to to achieve something, because as a founder it's not expected from you, from the investors and other agencies, that you can do it anything by your own. It can't be possible, right? But as a founder, it is always needed for you to be capable, to invent something, to get in the every aspect of your journey. You have to be sound, as well as tech, as well as in a marketing purpose, in a networking building. All these things should be needed very well, very clear thoughts. And as I told before, the execution is the bigger thing of a startup, because without planning, without anything, you can't do. Without planning, I can establish a big product with a great tech, but it can't be a good market, right? So without marketing, there is no value in a product. If you give a value in a product, there should be some जोटा हमरा तोरी करता है, as such कभी कभी बोलते हैं ना, जो बिकता है उसका ही बस चलता है. So if you can't sell your product, this is no value, bro. You can tell that a big product in a big tech that is no demand, if there is no market, right? So that is also needed. And why the, how the, E-Yuva helped me. I started my journey, and I moved to Kolkata with my another venture, Sin by Genesis Private Limited. And startup, as a startup, there that was very much challenges to us to get the fundings, to how to move these things, and how to we are a edtech company. We are the edtech company, Sin by Genesis, and that is only focusing on the training the students, as well as the product is also there, obviously. But initially, there are lots of issues out there with our startup, and Adamas always helped us, to solve these issues, to buy their equipments, or sometimes some things were needed, and they have given the facilities in their lab. So I really thanks to Sir also for the growth, whatever I am today, not because of me, because of my team, because of everyone. Also recently I have raised some venture capitalist round, and I am very lucky, but I raised the funding as a pre-seed round. Pre-seed round is basically is called when you didn't have product in your hand and you didn't have any revenue still now. So I didn't have the prototype still now. Means I have the prototype, but not the viable product, right? So in that position, I have raised a venture capitalist round. So all I did, because of not only the for my team, it's also the incubation support also. In my career, I got the support from IIT Guwahati Binance, from Redhill, from Wadani Foundation, as well as in Adamas. So I appreciate all these things. And also for the students, most of the students came to me and they asked me about my journey and everything, how I did this and all these things. So I think the whatever the Adamas did, and in Kolkata basically, whatever I attended before, all that one basically in IITs, also event of the government. But this is my first time where I am attending an event which is organized by a private organization, and I think in Kolkata also this is my first time. I don't know anyone did it before or not. So I appreciate this one. This was the conclave, not only the communication, not only the so sharing your knowledge or the expertise, you also make them the network. The most valuable things, as I know from my startup journey, that is networking. If you build a good network, if you so you can do anything, because if you have nothing in your hand, but by building a good network, you can get some facilities. Suppose you think I didn't have my lab facilities, something I need some animal cell culture lab, suppose you think, but I didn't have the lab facilities. But in this network, in these events, I may communicate with some person who have the facilities, and he is ready to collaboration. So these kind of things only happened in these events also. So I think this is a great one, and nothing to suggest. I think they are well-known person, and they know how to move. I am the newcomers in this field, and I am appreciated, and I am thank you, and thanks a lot, sir, and thank you all of you guys.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kaustav De, a UG student from Ramakrishna Mission Rahada, Vivekananda Centenary College. So actually, the main question which I had, actually the main funda why my college sent me here as a representative, as a registered candidate, is because we are restricted to academia only. We don't know what's the industry interface or how we can proceed to industry. So I thank Adamas University, I thank Saptarshi sir and my faculty and all those college members who let me visit this conclave, so that I can get an idea what should be approach of a student, mainly a UG student who is in turmoil situation about thinking what he'll do after UG, what he'll do after masters, will he be able to join the industry, is there any scope of business or having any innovation in the field of research, whether he can produce any translational products. from his innovative ideas. All these were put into a nutshell through this conclave, and I am very thankful for all the guest speakers who had their talks here. I was very inspired from Dr. Shomojit Ray of ISER Kolkata, that his specific word that if you have a kick, then only you can proceed in industry only. So I was looking for that kick, specific kick, which in our lingo we said, if अगर तुम्हें kick चाहिए तभी तुम कुछ कर सकते हो. So I'd like to conclude with that. The suggestions which I would give is I was looking for more settled industrialists, and the panel discussion was good, but in it there should have been like some in settled industrialists sitting in a place, some growing industrialists sitting in a place, and panel of researchers. These three teams will debate on what is the need of the hour, what is the basic need of the industry, so that we can create more engagement in the biotech industry. Thank you.
Thank you for the suggestion. Actually, the motto of this event was to orient. So successively we are planning events like CEO Conclave. Maybe within a few months we will be having, where we will be having industry CEOs as well as young founder CEOs, and we will sort of create a network or link so that the thread remains. It's not a break in the thread, so that the thread remains. So industries would come, but definitely in these programs where students, the purpose was to orient students and faculty members that there is something else, there is some other options are also available, and people are doing it in academia. Okay, so definitely I take your suggestions, and suggestions from Madam from Jadavpur University. We actually do pitch competition with investors, but again that would be mostly a closed door event where they would like to discuss certain nitty-gritties of the business. So going forward we already have in plan such events, and that we are going to share with you shortly. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. As we come to the end of this inspiring entrepreneurship conclave, I am filled with gratitude for the incredible journey we have embarked upon together. Over the past few days, we have witnessed the power of innovation, the resilience of human spirit, and the boundless potential of entrepreneurship. From groundbreaking tech startups to sustainable social enterprises, we have seen that entrepreneurship knows no boundaries when it comes to making a positive impact on the world. As we move forward from this platform, let us remember that entrepreneurship is not just about creating successful businesses, it's about driving a meaningful change. Each one of us has the potential to contribute to the betterment of society by daring to dream, taking calculated risks, and innovating in ways that can transform industries and lives. Remember, the path of entrepreneurship is not always smooth, but it's in those moments of adversity that our true metal shines. Embrace failures as opportunities to learn and grow, for they are the stepping stones towards achieving greatness. Let's continue to support one another, lift each other up, and create an ecosystem where ideas flourish and collaborations thrive. We at Adamas University are grateful to Biotechnology Industry Research Assistance Council, that is BIRAC, Department of Biotechnology DBT, a Government of India enterprise, for funding a E-Yuva center at Adamas University. In closing, I want to thank our Honorable Chancellor Sir, Professor Dr. Shomit Rai, our Honorable Vice Chancellor Sir, Professor Dr. Shuranjan Das, our Pro-Vice Chancellors, Professor Naveen Das and Professor Dipankar Bhattacharya, our Registrar, Mr. Shovik Roy Chaudhary, Mr. Somnath Chatterjee, our Dean of School of Life Science and Biotechnology, Dr. Rudra Prasad Shaha, our security, staff, admin, housekeeping, IT department, the food court staff, photography and videography team, branding and communications, and our accommodation management. Also, for the transporters, volunteers, E-Yuva staff, and all fraternities of Adamas University who has made this conclave a resounding success. The connections forged here the insights gained, and the bonds formed will undoubtedly continue to resonate long after we part ways. As we leave this gathering, let's carry forward the spirit of innovation, determination, and a shared commitment to shaping a brighter future through entrepreneurship. Thank you for being a part of this incredible journey. Here's to entrepreneurs of today and tomorrow. May your ideas disrupt, your endeavors prosper, and your impact be everlasting. Thank you.
I request everyone to kindly assemble for a group photograph.